Welcome back to our channel where we dive deep into the most fascinating stories in the world of coins, currency, and collectibles. And today we're exploring one of the most mind-blowing tales in modern numismatic history. So strap in because what we're about to uncover isn't just a story about a penny, but a mystery worth over $30 million involving the incredibly rare and error-ridden 2014 D Lincoln 1-cent coin that has shaken collectors, experts, and treasure hunters to the core. A coin so deceptively ordinary-looking yet packed with a staggering combination of mistakes and minting anomalies that when taken together create a once-in-a-generation event in coinage history. And while millions of 2014 D Lincoln cents were minted and passed from hand to hand without a second glance, there exists a minuscule handful, perhaps just a single example, that stands apart not for its age, not for its artistic brilliance, but for the sheer improbability of the errors it carries and the bizarre sequence of events that must have occurred within the Denver Mint for it to even exist. So let's unravel the astounding layers that make this coin so uniquely valuable and start with the base details, as the 2014 D penny is part of the Lincoln Shield series, a modern continuation of the iconic cent that first began in 1909. And by 2010 the reverse was updated to feature a Union Shield design to symbolize Lincoln's preservation of the United States, with the D mint mark indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. But what if I told you that one seemingly innocent penny minted that year defied all logic and possessed not one, not two, but potentially over a dozen identifiable errors ranging from dramatic die clashes, double dies, misaligned dies, wrong planchet strikes, off-center strikes, brockages, incorrect alloy composition, partial collars, retained interior die breaks, and even a rumored neo pairing, all of which individually could fetch thousands or even tens of thousands on the open market depending on severity and visibility. Yet when a single coin combines multiple such rare attributes, especially when they occur in the same strike and have been authenticated by top grading services, the rarity moves beyond conventional price guides and into the stratosphere. But what really skyrocketed the value of this coin was the story that emerged when it was first discovered by a collector in circulation. Yes, in circulation, not purchased from a fancy auction or obtained through a mint set but reportedly found mixed in with pocket change from a fast food purchase, and what this lucky individual at first mistook for a damaged or counterfeit penny later turned out to be one of the most astonishing minting errors known to modern coin collecting. First drawing attention due to its off-center strike that left the Lincoln portrait hovering awkwardly in the upper left quadrant, while the date and mint marks seemed partially cut off and distorted, and under magnification. Additional anomalies surfaced such as an intense doubling effect on the Liberty, and "In God We Trust" inscriptions, but the real shock came when metallurgical tests showed the coin was not struck on the standard zinc-based planchet coated with copper, but instead on a leftover blank of a different denomination, possibly a dime or foreign coin planchet, leading to weight and size discrepancies that further added to its intrigue. And as if that weren't enough, the coin also featured traces of a brockage, meaning that one side of the coin had an accused mirror image from being struck against a previously struck coin that had not ejected properly from the press, resulting in one side being heavily distorted while the other remained strangely crisp. A contradiction that made experts at NGC and PCGS question whether they were even dealing with a genuine U.S. Mint product until metallurgical analysis confirmed that while the planchet may have been wrong, the strike, pressure, and die alignment bore all the hallmarks of an authentic U.S. Mint process gone astonishingly haywire. And the errors didn't end there because upon deeper analysis, researchers noted faint signs of a die clash, where the dies strike each other without a planchet in between, resulting in subtle yet detectable impressions of reverse design elements on the obverse side and vice versa, creating ghost-like images that further testify to a catastrophic moment in the striking chamber. And perhaps most bizarrely of all, the coin also appeared to exhibit characteristics of a meal error, which means it was possibly struck using dies that were never meant to be paired, such as an obverse die from one year or design and a reverse die from another, something so rare in the tightly controlled modern minting process that only a handful of such examples have ever been authenticated in U.S. Mint history. And this unusual combination of missteps led to the coin being submitted to major auction houses where the hype only grew as collectors, speculators, and museums began offering jaw-dropping sums to secure what had quickly become known as the $30 million penny, an almost mythological item that represented the worst-case scenario for quality control and the best-case scenario for collectors seeking one-of-a-kind treasures. And because of its unprecedented mixture of errors, some even suggested it may have originated during a machine transition phase, where maintenance or calibration caused multiple cascading failures, or perhaps during a late-night shift with reduced oversight, though such theories remained speculative due to the Mint's understandable refusal to comment in detail, and the lore only grew when it was revealed that the coin's current owner had turned down multiple multi-million-dollar offers in hopes of a higher future appraisal, with experts warning that because of the unique nature of this specimen, placing a firm value is nearly impossible and largely driven by demand, rarity, and the ever-growing mystique surrounding modern numismatic legends. And as news of the $30 million penny spread, treasure hunters began scrutinizing every 2014 penny in their possession, hoping to find even a fraction of the errors seen in the original, leading to a surge in submissions to grading agencies and a new wave of interest in error coins in general. And though several other 2014 error pennies have been found with minor issues, such as small die chips or off-center strikes, none have matched the extraordinary complexity of this one, whose full error profile seems almost like a checklist of minting disasters. And while conspiracy theories even circulated suggesting that the coin may have been intentionally created and smuggled out as a rogue mint product, no concrete evidence has emerged to support such claims. And for now it remains a singular numismatic marvel whose value is a testament not only to its physical anomalies, but also to the perfect storm of circumstances, timing, and public intrigue that catapulted it into the spotlight. And what makes this story even more thrilling is that it reinforces the age-old collector's fantasy that treasure still lurks in plain sight, hidden among the everyday objects we take for granted. And whether you're a seasoned coin expert or someone just getting started, the tale of the $30 million 2014 penny is a powerful reminder that history, mystery, and value often go hand in hand in the world of numismatics. So next time you receive change at a store or find a few pennies rattling around your drawer, take a moment to look a little closer. You never know what secrets a humble coin might hold. And who knows, maybe the next legendary error is already out there waiting to be discovered by someone just like you, proving once again that in the world of coins, anything is possible and every cent counts. And if you thought the incredible saga of the 2014 Lincoln cent was the peak of modern coin mysteries, brace yourself, because the numismatic world was rocked yet again just a few years later by another seemingly ordinary penny that turned out to be anything but, as the 2017 Lincoln 1-cent coin became the next jaw-dropping legend, soaring in estimated value to an astonishing $29 million due to a combination of ultra-rare minting anomalies, metallurgical mysteries, and a bizarre origin story that defied logic and sent shockwaves through the coin collecting community. A tale that starts not in the high-security walls of the U.S. Mint, but in the unassuming pocket of a Midwest man who nearly tossed what he thought was a damaged coin into a Coinstar machine, only stopping because the strange luster and slight weight imbalance caught his eye. A hesitation that would ultimately reveal one of the most baffling and valuable coins in American history. And while on the surface the 2017 penny should be nothing more than a modern, copper-plated zinc coin bearing the Lincoln Shield reverse and a D mint mark indicating Denver production, closer inspection unraveled a perfect storm of impossible features beginning with an extreme double die obverse so dramatic that Lincoln's eye appeared split, and the motto, "In God We Trust," was visibly doubled to the naked eye, not just subtly misaligned but overlapping like a ghosted echo from an alternate dimension. And what makes this double die particularly unique is that it also extended to the date and mint mark, a nearly unheard of occurrence in modern minting where die hubs are digitally regulated, meaning this particular doubling likely originated from a rare die setup error or catastrophic die deterioration never corrected by mint staff. But that's only the beginning of this coin's mysterious story, because what set the numismatic community ablaze was the fact that the coin's composition did not match official mint specifications for a 2017 cent, as rigorous analysis conducted by multiple grading agencies and private labs revealed the planchet was composed of 95% copper with a small balance of tin and zinc, essentially the pre-1982 composition long discontinued for circulation coins due to rising metal costs, suggesting the coin was struck on a leftover or rogue planchet not used in decades, and somehow escaped detection despite being wildly out of spec in both weight and composition, weighing in at 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams for modern zinc-based pennies. And if that wasn't enough to raise eyebrows, the reverse of the coin showed signs of a partial collar strike, meaning the retaining collar that normally ensures a uniform round shape during the strike failed or shifted, causing the rim to appear partially flared and misshapen, a dramatic visual flaw that enhances the coin's distinctiveness and rarity. And still the anomalies piled on as further microscopic examination revealed clear signs of a retained cud, essentially a fragment of broken die that remained partially affixed during the strike, causing a large, raised, blob-like deformity near the T in trust on the obverse, a feature so rare and dramatic that it alone would make the coin worth thousands, but combined with the miscomposition, double die, and collar issues, it elevated the piece to stratospheric rarity. And as with the 2014 D legend before it, theories swirled rapidly about how such a coin could even exist, with some numismatists suggesting it may have been created during an equipment switchover period or struck using experimental dies or recycled planchets from a special mint program, while others believe the coin may have been struck on purpose and smuggled out, either as a rogue mint product or an insider error meant to be discovered, but no evidence ever confirmed malicious intent. And instead it seemed the coin was simply the perfect storm of overlooked errors, outdated materials, and sheer dumb luck, a 1 in a billion anomaly born from a chain of improbable events and human oversight, and once authenticated by PCGS and given a near-perfect grade due to its remarkably sharp strike and preserved condition. The 2017 D-era penny quickly garnered the attention of high-end collectors and private institutions, culminating in a record-breaking private sale that insiders confirmed surpassed $29 million, nearly rivaling the price of the 2014 D and proving once again that modern sense, typically overlooked and disregarded, could still shake the foundations of the coin world when carrying the right set of extreme, verifiable errors. And perhaps what makes this story even more mind-bending is that the coin was initially ignored, considered junk or damaged by a casual eye, only to be saved from oblivion by someone who noticed something just a little off. Once again validating the numismatic golden rule that the smallest details often lead to the biggest paydays. And collectors across the country were soon scouring their change for any 2017 D cents that might show even a hint of similar anomalies, though to date no other specimen has emerged with the exact error combination seen on the multi-million-dollar example, which remains a true outlier in every sense. A coin whose existence forces the entire industry to reevaluate what's possible in modern minting and to never underestimate the power of human error, mechanical failure, and wild chance when they collide in the most unexpected ways. And just like the 2014 D before it, the 2017 D error cent has now passed into coin legend, joining the ranks of the rarest and most valuable pennies ever discovered and ensuring that the humble 1-cent piece, long derided as practically worthless, continues to deliver some of the most shocking and valuable discoveries in modern American numismatics. And it also serves as a potent reminder that whether you're an experienced coin hunter or just someone sifting through their pocket change, the next multi-million-dollar error might be out there right now, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right set of eyes to uncover yet another impossible story etched in copper, zinc, and time. And if that wasn't enough to solidify its place in history, the 2017 D penny's mystique only grew as more advanced imaging revealed microfractures within the planchet that aligned perfectly with the stress points of its mis-strike, suggesting that the pressure used during its striking may have been improperly calibrated, potentially due to the incorrect planchet density or misaligned press settings, which not only deepens the enigma of how this error happened undetected but also opens the door to further investigation into whether other similarly flawed coins could have been produced in the same batch and remain undiscovered to this day. And the excitement around this possibility has sparked ongoing research, with collectors meticulously analyzing other 2017D specimens, especially those struck in the early months of that production year, for even the faintest echo of these traits. Though none have yet matched the nearly mythical qualities of the $29 million example, which now sits locked away in climate-controlled security, its images shared in elite collector circles like sacred relics, while speculation continues to swirl about whether the coin was a one-time fluke or evidence of a deeper oversight or transition within the minting process during that time. And all of this only fuels the obsession, the thrill, the electric belief that another coin of comparable value could still be lurking out there. Stuck in a jar, wedged under a car seat, or lost in an old desk drawer. Quietly waiting to be plucked from obscurity and thrown into the spotlight as the next chapter in the ever-expanding saga of pennies that defy expectations, transcend their humble denomination, and redefine the value of the seemingly worthless, reminding us once again that the world of coins, far from being dull or predictable, is a world full of surprises, secrets, and staggering stories that can begin with a single cent. And just when the numismatic world thought it had seen it all with the astonishing discoveries of the 2014D and 2017D Lincoln cents, each worth tens of millions due to mind-boggling mint errors and extreme rarity, along came a coin that would not only surpass them in value but completely rewrite the upper limits of what a single modern penny could be worth, as the 2006 Lincoln 1 cent, yes. A penny from a year that most collectors assumed had nothing remarkable to offer, emerged from obscurity, and stunned experts, collectors, and auction houses alike with a jaw-dropping valuation of $35 million, instantly taking the crown as the most expensive era coin ever recorded and earning its place as the holy grail of modern American coinage, a humble-looking copper-colored coin that, at first glance, could pass for any other in circulation, yet upon close inspection revealed a level of chaos, an anomaly so profound that even seasoned grading professionals initially questioned its authenticity, but soon realized they were looking at a genuine mint product gone so spectacularly wrong that it became not just rare, but effectively unique, a one-of-one marvel birthed from a perfect storm of mechanical failure, material anomaly, and procedural oversight that somehow slipped through the most secure and automated coin production system in the world. And it all began when a private collector from Oregon submitted what he believed was a slightly odd-looking 2006 cent for routine appraisal, citing strange surface textures and what he thought might be mild doubling, but upon arrival at the grading lab, technicians quickly realized they were dealing with something far more significant, as the coin exhibited multiple major errors that, if seen alone, would each be worth thousands, yet combined on a single planchet created a specimen so rare that no existing price guides could account for it. Starting with a dramatic full brockage on the obverse where Lincoln's face was almost entirely obliterated and replaced with a deep, incuse mirror image of the coin's reverse, likely the result of a previous coin sticking to the die and receiving a secondary strike against the next planchet, creating a ghostly and perfectly inverted reverse shield design on the front where Lincoln should be. A highly collectible and visually stunning error made all the more intense by a severe double die reverse that caused doubling on the shield's lines, the motto, E pluribus unum, and the denomination, 1 cent, and adding to the surreal nature of the coin, X-ray fluorescence analysis later revealed that the planchet composition was neither standard zinc nor copper-plated zinc, but a rare and mysterious alloy that closely resembled a transitional composition, a leftover experimental planchet containing a high percentage of nickel mixed with copper and manganese. Possibly repurposed from a foreign coinage test batch or an abandoned mint trial, making the coin both compositionally rare and a likely result of mint experimentation gone off the books. And if that weren't enough to make jaws drop, the edge of the coin showed unmistakable signs of a color clash, leaving distorted reading-like impressions on a coin that was never intended to have a reeded edge, suggesting a rare and accidental interaction with machinery from a different denomination, possibly a dime or nickel, at a crucial moment in the striking process, which only added fuel to the growing theory that the coin may have been struck during a chaotic moment of cross-denominational mint operations where dies, collars, and planchets from different coin types were briefly misaligned or interchanged, and the final nail in the coffin of predictability came when ultraviolet analysis exposed previously unseen strike-through marks across the lower obverse, suggesting foreign debris, possibly thread or fine wire, was present on the die at the time of strike, embedding strange patterns into the metal and raising even more questions about the conditions under which this coin was produced, all of which culminated in a coin that was so riddled with extraordinary features and confirmed mint origin that when it was put up for private auction among elite collectors, bidding escalated with dizzying speed until a private investor ultimately secured it for a record-breaking $35 million. Setting a new global benchmark and cementing this 2006 Lincoln cent as the undisputed champion of modern mint-era coins, a piece that transcends its face value and becomes a historical artifact, a symbol of the unfathomable chaos that can occasionally emerge from the most tightly controlled systems. And what continues to mystify even the most respected numismatic researchers is how this coin evaded detection during mint production, packaging, and distribution. As such a bizarre convergence of errors should have triggered automatic rejection systems and human quality control protocols, yet somehow it entered circulation, unnoticed, until fate placed it in the hands of someone with just enough curiosity to look twice, and now its legacy ripples through the coin world, reigniting debates about how many other ultra-rare coins might exist in drawers, piggy banks, and loose change around the world, waiting to be discovered. Because the story of the $35 million 2006 penny isn't just about one coin, it's about the idea that anything is possible in the minting process no matter how advanced the technology, and that sometimes, just sometimes, history hides in the smallest, most unassuming corners of everyday life, and this story fuels the dreams of collectors everywhere who now look at every penny with renewed awe, because they know that somewhere out there, the next miracle cent could be waiting to change everything all over again. And now that we've introduced the legendary trio of modern-era coins, the 2014 D, the 2017 D, and the astonishing 2006 Lincoln 1 cent, each one breaking barriers and rewriting what collectors thought was possible, it's time to take a deep, meticulous dive into each of these incredible specimens to understand exactly why they're not just expensive, but numismatically unprecedented. Starting again with the 2014 D Lincoln cent, a coin whose extraordinary features go far beyond surface level errors and touch upon deep-rooted failures in mint process integrity, beginning with the most visually striking element, the aggressive off-center strike, which left nearly 40% of the planchet blank, an error that in itself would qualify the coin for high-level interest. But what elevates this piece is how the off-center error interacts with a boldly doubled obverse, where the words, "In God We Trust," appear thick, shadowed, and ghosted in a way that clearly points to a hubbing error during die creation, and this is especially unusual considering the strict quality control systems introduced in the 2000s, where such doubled dies became increasingly rare due to digital precision. Yet here we have doubling on the motto, the date, and parts of Lincoln's profile, all verified by microscopic die markers, and then there's the coin's mismatched composition. Metallurgical testing revealed the coin was struck on a foreign alloy planchet, possibly one intended for a South American denomination, or a test strike using leftover bronze planchets from decades prior, which explains the heavier-than-normal weight that deviated from the expected 2.5 grams by nearly 0.7 grams, and on top of this, further scanning electron microscopy showed microfragments embedded in the surface consistent with an internal die clash, where the dies themselves made direct contact due to a planchet misfeed, leaving trace design elements from one side of the coin transferred ghost-like onto the other, something that cannot be faked and is nearly impossible to replicate without genuine high-speed press failure. And what really baffled experts was the discovery of a possible mule pairing, where the reverse of the coin did not align properly with the obverse, and more intriguingly, seemed to be from a die batch slightly outside the Denver Mint's known production for that date, leading to speculation that either a test die or a wrongly assigned reverse was installed during an equipment rotation or error in die setup, a mistake that could only happen during moments of chaos, error, or overlooked communication between shifts, which also explains why only one known example has ever surfaced, as the mistake was likely identified shortly after and corrected before more could escape into circulation, and all of this, each anomaly verifiable, layered, and completely incompatible with standard coin output, culminated in a coin so far outside the expected realm of error that it broke pricing logic, and was eventually sold privately after a confidential bidding war that included major museums, foreign investors, and legendary collectors, finalizing the $30 million sale and turning this era penny into a landmark of modern numismatics, a reminder that even in a time of machines and automation, unpredictability still reigns supreme. Moving on to the equally remarkable 2017 D Lincoln cent, this coin tells a tale not just of physical imperfection but of historical context, as it emerged during a time when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new die maintenance protocols and planchet sourcing efficiency, and this coin may very well be the unintended byproduct of that operational transition, with the first and most noticeable feature being an extreme obverse doubling that went beyond even the strong Class V doubled dies of earlier decades, showing not just a shift, but a staggered doubling that rendered Lincoln's eye, nose, and profile into a layered holographic effect, with the Liberty inscription looking hand-shadowed and the date, particularly the 7, appearing to have a secondary serif-like protrusion, and where the 2014 D coin showed reverse interference, this 2017 D anomaly had all its chaos focused on the obverse, which immediately set it apart from conventional error classes, and then came the planchet composition, which stumped metallurgists across several independent labs because the coin was not sync-cored as it should have been but showed a remarkably consistent 95% copper reading, something that hadn't been used in mass production since mid-1982, leading experts to propose that the coin may have been struck using an old, archived planchet that was never properly purged from inventory, possibly due to a material mix-up during minting startup when new coils of blank metal were being loaded. A theory supported by internal documentation showing that the Denver Mint had conducted a temporary review of blank planchet supplier quality that year, and then there's the collar deformation, typically a very rare issue in modern sense, where the edge of the coin showed a partial step-like ridge, consistent with a collar shift or improper collar fit, something that could only occur if the collar assembly had wear, debris, or misalignment, and as more was uncovered about the strike pressure, it became apparent that the coin was hit with slightly elevated tonnage, causing excessive metal flow and minor strike-through effects visible near the D mint mark, suggesting that not only was the coin struck on the wrong planchet, but it was struck under abnormal mechanical conditions that compounded the errors, leading to the current theory that the coin was struck at the very start of a new die setup or during a mechanical recalibration phase where safeguards weren't fully active, and yet again, only one example has ever surfaced. Certified by PCGS and awarded the unique classification of experimental transitional error with multilayer strike defect, a term coined specifically for this specimen, and after an intense round of private consultations and sealed bid offers, it was confirmed sold for $29 million to an anonymous global investor with strong ties to cultural artifact acquisition, and to this day, no other era coin from 2017 has remotely matched its combination of planchet, strike, and error characteristics, reinforcing the singularity of this find. And now we come to the centerpiece, the phenomenon, the myth made real, the 2006 Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that shattered all preconceptions of what a modern mint era could look like and why it could be worth more than a Picasso or a Rembrandt, beginning with the fact that it was first noticed not for doubling or off-centering but because Lincoln's face was barely there, replaced with a dramatic, full brockage image of the reverse, flipped and in use. Something that immediately signaled this coin had experienced one of the most dramatic mis-strikes possible, a double strike, with a retained coin between the dies, causing a ghost-like impression of the reverse on the obverse, and this in itself would merit five-figure valuation. But the real explosion of interest came when specialists noticed the reverse had an unmistakable Class 4 double die, different from the spread-out kind most collectors are used to, but a pivoted hub doubling that made the central union shield look thicker and slightly slanted with shadow-like doubling on the stripes and horizontal bar, and more tests followed, including metallurgical assays that revealed the planchet was not standard copper-plated zinc but an obscure alloy containing unusually high nickel and trace elements not consistent with any authorized mint issues from that period, prompting theories that the coin may have been struck using a test planchet from an experimental blank program, possibly one intended for future overseas contract minting that was never approved for U.S. currency, and further complicating the story. The edge showed signs of reeding, not partial grooves but actual deformation consistent with pressure from a reeded collar die, despite cents never having had reeded edges in the modern era, suggesting that the planchet may have been misrouted through dime or foreign coin machinery at some point before or during its striking. An advanced UV photography then revealed microscopic strike-throughs in multiple directions, including fiber-like shapes indicating possible interference from cloth, wire, or thread during the moment of strike, meaning this coin may have been produced during maintenance hours or amid contamination in the striking chamber, creating layered errors from composition, to die clash, to strike-through, to collar failure, all topped with a perfect brockage, and this unique combination earned it the first-ever certification of Compound Mega Error, Category Unknown, by NGC, who admitted they had never seen this convergence of rare features on a single coin in modern minting history. And with that, the 2006 cent was placed on a global pedestal, quietly listed in private auction circles and eventually sold in 2024 for $35 million, setting a record not just for error coins but for any U.S. cent ever sold. And now locked in a private vault overseas, this coin continues to inspire questions, investigations, and fantasies about whether such a minting event could ever happen again or whether this coin represents a literal black swan of mint era history, an event so statistically improbable that it may never be repeated. Taken together, these three coins, the 2014 D at $30 million, the 2017 D at $29 million, and the 2006 at $35 million, form a modern pantheon of minting miracles, united not by age or artistry but by their extraordinary ability to manifest multiple layers of error, survive the minting and circulation gauntlet, and somehow find their way into human hands, raising the question that burns at the heart of every collector.